we have so your title is Movement
Oh
City.
yeah, I logged in on the wrong one.
Oh, that's okay.
That's
Happens
okay.
to the best of us.
It
Yeah.
does.
My name's Kimberly.
Hi, Kimberly.
Hi,
Nice to
Kimberly.
meet you. Where are
Hi.
you from?
South of Fort Worth. We're in Burleson.
Okay. Very good. My sister lives in Royce City, which is
Oh yeah, not
yeah.
too far.
not too far. Cool. Very good. Well, welcome to our little Biz Bites today.
Thanks.
Um, did we Kimberly, what's the name of your business?
Kimberly Danielle Portraits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Very good. Oh, I just
Yeah.
got a text here from someone else. Obviously, I'm
Gretchen,
Jen.
I think.
Yeah, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Mindy, are you replying to Gretchen?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm Jody, and I have my business, Jody Real Photography, in Las Vegas. It's where I'm based. And then, oh, there's Gretchen. So then Mindy
Hi.
is,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, Janet, go ahead and introduce yourself.
My name's Janet Taub. I'm based in Connecticut, and my business is Planet Photo. Hi, Gretchen. You want to introduce yourself?
Sorry, my mouse wasn't working. I'm Gretchen Higgins with Gretchen Lee Photography, and I'm based in Northern Nevada near Lake Tahoe. Nice to see a new face.
I know.
Yeah.
Is she Kimberly from Fort Worth?
Yes.
Cool.
So
Nice to see you.
Thanks. I'm excited.
good. We so do you mainly shoot, like, what do you mainly shoot, I should say? What do you
Yeah, so I'm actually rebooting. I had a pretty strong senior business. I closed it in beginning of 2020. We moved overseas, and so now I'm coming back to seniors.
Oh wow. Where overseas did you
We
move
were
to?
in Turkey, and so I was doing travel photography over there.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
What a cool experience that not everybody gets to have.
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
a lot of learning. Yeah, for sure. I saw a lot of amazing things.
Hmm.
I bet.
So you were there during COVID too?
Oh, yes.
Oh, joy.
Yes, that was, and they did stuff with their children and students very differently. And so that was just hard.
I bet.
Mhm, mhm.
Do you have kids that
I do. I have three. I have when we moved over, we had a kindergartner and a preschooler, and then I had a baby that was born there.
oh wow.
Mhm.
Ah, very
You have
cool.
a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So you're kind of rebooting. Are you wanting to reboot with seniors again, or
Yeah, I
another?
love seniors. So
Yeah.
mhm.
Cool. Very cool. I think all of us here work with seniors, among other people, but yes, that's
Mhm.
um so let's see here. Okay, we lost Lisa, but anyway, I haven't had such a cool experience of moving overseas, but I've been in Las Vegas for the last 20 years, so it's well 22 years now. And so and my business is 20 years old this year, so kind of it's all been mostly seniors, but it's changed just about every like 3 or 4 years. Like there's a huge like change in my business, like it just kind of evolves a little bit, like every yeah 3 4 5 years, something like that. Something happens, or you know the environment changes, something like that. So it's kind of interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mindy, why don't you introduce yourself? And then there's
Um, my name's Mindy, and I'm in Mindy Brunkart, and I am in Las Vegas. I work with Jody in her studio, and she's my sister.
That's fun.
so if we start bickering, you'll know why. No.
Here, Jody. Good, great. We've already started.
Good morning.
Lisa, are you still in your car? Is that a fake background or are you where you want need to be?
I'm in my car and I have no idea why that's on there.
It
I
looks cool.
got, I'm like, what is that? Okay, that's Auburn University during a pep rally. Who knows? I hope this isn't a sign of what's to come for today.
Yeah.
You want to introduce yourself, Lisa?
Okay, I'm Lisa Smith in Montgomery, Alabama, soon to be in Auburn, Alabama, which is not too far from here. And I used to shoot mostly seniors, and right now I'm shooting Santa photos. So
Cool.
we're setting up every weekend, doing Santa portraits, and so it's basically like 100 mini sessions a day,
Wow.
which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm not sure if fun would have been the word I chose there, but
It is fun. We get to see a lot of the same families every year, and so it's really neat to see them kind of grow and come in and be excited and feel the joy and the magic and all those fun things.
that is cute.
Yeah.
That is cute.
And I've sort of been in and out, absent but not absent member of the OC. And this season we just are rolling with it.
Yeah.
Well, you had a move to deal with as well.
Yeah.
Moving is a lot.
And a
Yeah.
toddler. And a toddler.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So I might could rely on your expertise on, rebuilding your business and making that major shift. So I might reach out to you about that.
Well, I don't know. I'm just now restarting, so we'll see.
We'll
Well,
do it together.
Yes,
that's
yes.
right. It's definitely a rebooting, Kimberly, are you in the military, or is that why you moved to Turkey, or just to go do the travel stuff over there?
No, we were in missions.
Oh, missions. Okay, cool.
Very
Mhm.
cool.
Which makes sense why it's the church was up first.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. That's cool. Very neat.
Mhm.
Kind of a tough time. Like, it was definitely needed during COVID because like one of the girls who used to work for me joined the Peace Corps, and so she was over in Africa, but then when COVID broke out, they like said, "Oh, sorry, you all have to go home," even though it was like they had another year left on their program. And so she was like, it was not good, because she's like, all these people still need help even more now than they did before. And so it was extremely frustrating for her. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
Yeah, a lot of countries close their borders.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right. Well, today we have a discussion about what creative ideas keep us going, and then what we can use to, build our model teams and help even in our senior sessions, something that kind of re-energizes us so that we don't get burned out. And so we have just an idea of things that we have done, or maybe that we've seen other people do, just some things that help us creatively to stay present in our business and in with our photography. So I think, Mindy, did you put oh, that was Gretchen's link. Okay. Mindy, do you have that form that we can all share, and not form, but sheet that we can brainstorm with?
Did Mindy create a form?
She didn't create a form. I asked her to put together a quick document of, we had started one, the OC had started one like 3 years ago. And so I was like, you know what, instead of recreating the wheel, why don't we like pull that up and revisit it and see if that works, if you guys are all good with that. So Kimberly, I don't know if you must have got our email or have seen our website, One Collective.
Mhm.
So we are just a group of photographers that we like to get together and bring our clients to photo shoots and do destination shoots together, basically. Sometimes we're in each other's cities and sometimes we're, somewhere completely different. But we just work together and we photograph together and support each other in our businesses. And so during COVID, instead of being in Turkey, we started the One Collective. So, which is just that. It's basically, we all felt so isolated during that time. And so, and in our businesses too. And we were all, and still are, very somewhat nervous about where the photography business is going to go. And, the economy always affects things. And so we're just like kind of banded together to help strengthen each other and to strengthen our businesses and to encourage each other in that. So that's what the One Collective is. And right now, everyone that's in the group right now are all owners, original developers of the One Collective. But we love having people come in and either join us, or we can, do photo shoots, or just have these little monthly like powwows on how we can strengthen our business. And we just, love helping each other and supporting each other. So we're very glad you're here.
Yes, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right. So in the chat, it looks like Mindy put that link. So it's a Google Doc, not a form. I said the wrong word. But we can add to this list or talk about how to do specific things. So Janet, I saw on your Instagram that you are getting ready for your model team.
Yeah, so my timeline is a little crazy. Connecticut is not a traditional market for senior portraits. It's everybody does yearbook pictures through the school and they get submitted directly. You're not even allowed to submit your own image. So senior portraits are definitely a luxury add-on, to be perfectly honest. Something that individual families, either they have that connection because they've moved from Midwest or somewhere where it is very common, or they just kind of like the idea of celebrating that senior year. So for the last 10 years, have been kind of walking an uphill battle to try and convince people not just to use me, but the fact that they need senior portraits. So I started a model team in the beginning of my business, but I realized that everybody, and it was quite successful, not just with seniors, but generally with teens. I would, have 10, 12, primarily girls every now and again, and have a guy. But they were really looking at it as a pseudo model experience, and I really wanted to pivot away from that a little bit, just with the differences in the generations. The kids, I'm sure everybody has noticed that they're not as interested in posting pretty pictures anymore. So I wanted to pivot a little bit. COVID hit and it all kind of fell flat. I ended up having like 3 or 4 girls that I kind of had known before, joined me without really me doing much marketing. And of course, if you are not marketing for the future, then your current client ages out and lo and behold, you have no market. So I've been really trying to reinvent my team and really training myself not to use the word model, but to use a creator team aspect. And I've had 2 just in-person kind of interviews this week. And then I have a kind of a group meeting next week. And people seem to be really receptive to the idea. I purchased Renee Bowen's senior creator outline. So I've been using that quite a bit. What I love about her material is she actually gives me the words. When I'm speaking, I have a lot to say. When I'm writing an email, I have very little to say. I just can't get the words down on paper to really get that call to action, to have people give me a call and actually do it. And even now with these great words and emails that she's given me, I found that it's been me really reaching out personally to individual people who I know are really interested and saying, what day is going to work for you? Let's set something up. Yeah. So I am offering an early bird special kind of before Christmas, because I had a couple of people contacted me saying that they would be interested in doing it for their now senior, I guess, class of 25, but they wanted to do it perhaps as a Christmas gift. So that's why even Renee recommends recruiting for the team kind of in the spring season. I've just done this kind of exclusive early bird outreach to try and get those people that perhaps like the idea of it being a Christmas gift as opposed to just something that they have to build into their expenses for senior year. As I said, it's not something people normally do. And I've had pretty good response, actually. Set it up very similar to how Renee does it, and built in the cost of an album. Because what I was having is people coming in paying $500 or $600 to join the team, and then balking when it got to the end of senior year, and they didn't want to pay another couple of thousand when they have college fees looming on the horizon.
Right.
So I have realized that I'd always thought it didn't really matter in my market because people don't do it for the yearbook. So why do I need to get them to do their pictures so early? Well, you need to get them to do it early because they feel like they can't afford anything but school once they get accepted into college. So I'm really shifting mine back a little bit. So that's why you've seen that I've been done some meetings recently just for my early birders. I've given them a 10% discount even on the extended payment plan. And I figure it will hopefully bring me, some recurring monthly income through the next couple months.
Well, so I think that's really awesome. And I really like I've loved seeing what you've been putting out there. And so my question, even though we were talking about creative shoots today, because I saw that you're building your model team this time of year, which kind of surprised me, which I think was brilliant, by the way. Because if someone's ready to hand you money, you should definitely take it. And it's one of those things that you're pivoting and trying to figure out like, oh, this is when they want it or what, even though if you're not ready to go, like you just got to go with it.
Yeah.
But then for model teams, especially, or rep teams, whatever, they want a different experience. They don't just want like pretty senior portraits or, and even our seniors now are starting to come away from that, where they don't just want pretty senior portraits. They want an experience. They want creativity. They want things. Maybe my seniors this year arguing with their parents that they want the photo of the back of their head looking out at the scenery versus, and the parents are like, no, I can't even see your face. And they're like, no, I want these two photos where it's the back of my head, like, and so, but they want something that's different, that's creative. So using these creative ideas for our model team, I think that's what I've done in the past, is try to think, okay, how many creative sessions can I come up with? What can I think of? And kind of going off of that is when my team last year, they absolutely loved learning how to do those creative shots. Like they're the photographer trying to learn. And so that was one thing. I had 2 kids who joined last year who wanted, can I bring my camera? Can you show me how to use it? Can I do this with you? And I was like, sure, so being open to that idea was a little bit different as well. So
my girls, I kind of spun it where the creative team is also like a collaboration together, where they get to, help plan it. And it's fun for me to have their unique ideas and like really get a little more involved. They don't all do that, but like 1 or 2 will usually step up with each thing, especially if I say, I want you to be a part of this. I want your help. And it gets into a bigger thing than I could just make it from my brain. So that's been really cool this year, especially at one shoot, I was going through a lot in my personal life, and I had it on the calendar for months. So I was not going to, cancel on them. But I said, you guys need to help me drive this one because I really need your help. And they just picked it up, and we created some amazing content for them. And so it really made me realize that I didn't have to do it all myself, and they wanted to be a part of it in that way. So it was really cool.
What was that shoot that you did?
That was just the fall shoot that I usually do. I always do a fall shoot because they love that content to post. And I didn't have the capacity to do, I didn't even remind them about it, which was crazy. But the day of, I was like, I need your help.
Yeah.
And it turned out good. I felt kind of bad doing it at first, but it worked out fine. So
I think we do tend to get a little bit down the rabbit hole of we have to do something spectacular when,
Yeah.
you know, as you said, fall, giving them some guidelines about, you know, wear fall clothing that's like layers and hats and scarves and gloves or whatever, you know, for that simple example. Those are actually the kind of pictures that they're much more likely going to post because they
Yeah.
look a little bit more spontaneous and a little bit more like them.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should feel bad about doing those kind of things every now and again. That it, you know, it really can spark the group creativity as opposed to just our creativity. You know, I think it's important that we light that spark every now and again for ourselves. However, you know, if it doesn't light their spark, then they're not going to share the images.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that this was been a couple of years ago, 2017 actually. I had a great group of senior models, and two of the girls actually worked in my studio. They were twins, and they had worked in my studio for all their whole high school. And at first they came in just to babysit my son, but then they started picking up things. And I basically gave them the job of recruiting because they know all the kids. I was like, go recruit kids for the senior team that you think would be really good. They organized all of the meetup events like at my studio to get people to come in and talk. And they were part of it. They were part of the team as well as working for me, which was a little bit weird. But I tell you, that was an amazing group of kids because I basically just had to click the shutter. And they came up with the concepts. They came up with the ideas. They organized all the communication with their friends and their peers. And it just was like amazing for my business to have that like youth in my life, I guess, and try to just help direct that model team to have like images that that their kids would, that their peers would also gravitate to and really love. And then I, of course, had to say, okay, what are we doing? Oh, okay, you guys, okay, how about we play with long exposure with this shoot and then
Right.
add it in like the technical part of things. But that was awesome collaboration, and I wish I could get back into it that way again. Look,
You
maybe
can.
I can hire an intern or somebody who's interested in photography who's in high school, because and build that relationship with them, because that just other kids then want to join because they're like, oh, well, there's this other kid who's this intern at this, you know, and so they can see that we do work and collaborate with teams.
Well, and when you market it to people to sign up, just say that that's how it's going to be. Is I want people who want to, you know, work with me on these things, and then you'll get those people.
Yeah. So that's thinking of collaboration. That was like the ultimate. That year was insane. I had like 35 reps or team model team people. That was the most I ever had. It was a little, we had to have like, if we had like an October shoot, I had to have 3 different sessions because I just couldn't shoot them all at the same time. It was crazy.
Be careful what you wish for, huh?
I know, yeah. Yeah. So anyway, compared to the 10 I had last year. So, but okay, so we can talk about specific creative ideas for the shoots. And this doesn't have to be, if you don't have a model team and you don't want to start that way, that's totally fine. Like these are creative shoots ideas that could be used for, you know, I use them a lot of times in my senior portraits too. I kind of originally would play with it with my model team because it was more of a safe environment for me to explore and try new things. But then I've had in the past, like I had the senior session who wanted like this car photo but wanted like lights swirling around it, or a computer, he's like you know, a geeky kid, I say that lovingly because I am too, who's got a computer or a camera, and like, how do you show that there's like stuff going on? So we use some long exposure in the studio to show like the lights or the gaming or something like that to create something really cool. The parents are back there with the lights running around doing long exposure. So I never would have felt comfortable doing that during a senior session if I hadn't played with it with my model team and been creative with that. So so anyway, what are some ideas that you guys love doing with your team or with your senior sessions?
Real fast, I want to interject something similar to that. I to make the paid senior sessions feel less like I'm just cranking them out and like, you know, I don't even remember who they are because they all seem the same. I started implementing just one tiny little, like you said, like technique or like something I haven't done. And it doesn't have to be giant, but in each session, I'll write down like what that one thing is going to be this time so that it just creates a different image for them and it gives me some creativity instead of just doing the same old, same old. But they're not always like huge things like I would do with my team, but sometimes they are. But just little things can help that too with the creativity.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do a flower shoot again, like a athletic poof flower shoot. I did one.
Like
I did one-
FLOUR as in instead of OWER.
Right. Yeah. I did one in 2020, I think it was COVID times, and I did it outside. So the sun was really cool making it light up, and I used colored powder, which was really cool. But I learned a lot of things, and I want to do it again in an indoor setting so that there's less distracting backgrounds. But it was so cool. There was this one where I put it on the back of her head or her hair, and she went whoosh, and it made this big old rainbow. It was really cool. Anyway, that's one of my ideas.
I did one like that. We were outside and we did it at night, but they were on a trampoline. So when they jumped, and so because it was at night, I made sure there were no lights behind them. So it looked like I was in the studio, but I had all the space, but a lot of them tumbled. So they were doing tumbling on the trampoline.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That's
that was
amazing.
fun. That was fun.
Did you light them from behind?
Nope, it was just one light in the front.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't done it inside, but when I did do it outside, I was glad it was outside. I brought my backdrop. I brought my backdrop outside.
Yeah.
Had it and made sure it couldn't be windy, of course, and really sandbagged it down because even a little breeze can like topple it. But I set up this huge black backdrop in the back to just help get all the distractions out. Never thought about the trampoline. That's a great
Yeah,
idea.
that's such a cool idea.
I have a little trampoline. Maybe I should try that.
Did you have to stand on a ladder?
Yeah, I was on a ladder.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a really good idea. That was actually my girls from 2017. That's what they wanted to do was the powder shoot.
Powder. That's a better way of saying it.
Yeah, it's holy powder,
Yeah.
but you also use flour. So
Yeah.
Did you have to do anything special to protect your camera, or you just had to stay back a little bit?
I just stayed back. Yeah. I had someone else threw it when we needed to throw it, or they got it ready, or like they would hold it. And
Yeah.
I
You
just stayed
stay
away.
from it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I had my girls, the other people on my team, they were on each side and they were throwing the powder in when we needed to throw it.
Yeah.
And they were like prepping the powder. And then when it was their turn, then they were on the spotlight and the other girls were like helping. So it was definitely like everybody was creating the
a good
photo and being a part instead of just standing around waiting for their turn. And then some of the girls were like dancers. So they helped with the poses for the girls who, didn't dance. So that was really, really fun to see them working together like that. So I think definitely that model team drove my senior business for sure. So I think it's really important and it's fun to be creative like that because that's what they talk about then. Like, oh, we learned how to do this or we did this, blah, blah, blah. So, okay. So on that I know we didn't really delve in deep, but there is that document for reference for all of you.
Those are
And
topics of these biz bites that we're gonna do.
oh, the topics of the biz bites. Okay. Do we have topics of, no, that's not the one we wanted to share. The one that of our, thank you, Gretchen, of our creative ideas.
What do you, oh, you mean for the, well, it's on the website. If you go to the blogs in the menu.
Oh, no. The creative shoot ideas. Like a powder shoot and
Barbie themed.
milk bath and
Well, we have 12 of them on the website. I don't know where that other document is.
oh, okay. That's under the challenge list, right? Yeah. Okay. So we can put that together and share it with Kimberly as our creative ideas. Well, all of us that are here. Are there, before we wrap up, are there any other like super creative? We talked about the powder shoot. I've never done a milk bath shoot. I know, Gretchen, you have.
I have, the milk bath was actually very cool.
Yeah.
I got a, like a children's wading pool and put white inside of it, so it didn't have, everything didn't have a blue tone. My biggest advice would be don't fill it up with water from your well and then expect the girls to get right in it, because it was freezing cold. And I really give them a lot of credit for not
Yes.
just backing right out of it. But I've done a lot of like river water shoots too, and those are incredibly popular. And in a nice way that it doesn't have to be, I do it with my team in general, so that everybody kind of gets a turn to go in, and I usually do regular clothes. So something that's got a little bit of flow to it in the water, as opposed to having them in bathing suits. And I've done one with flower crowns one year, kind of in the water. But it's nice because I can say to my regular clients, do you want to end up in the water? Knowing that they could do their whole session, and then if they want that for themselves, we just have to time it that we can end in the water, because obviously once they're in, then their hair is wet and their faces are wet. But that's been really popular, to be able to show them that. And I can't tell you how many people just leap at the chance of having that be part of their shoot. So where I lived was a lot of trees, so we have a lot of just like little rivers, because you want something that's not completely glaring sun, or I prefer that, to get a little so it's just easier to shoot, basically. But I would recommend that, doing something with your team that you can very easily incorporate into a senior session, that just makes it very different.
That's awesome. I know that it's very it would be popular with my team if we didn't leave in the desert.
Yeah.
But they loved, I've actually had one girl this year who was like, I want to be in water. So we drove 3 hours to get to Utah where there was water, where we could actually shoot that. So, and she drove up there too because she wanted to have a tree swing. There's just no trees really in Vegas that you can hang something like that. They're all like short little mesquite trees. So, it's crazy. They're definitely willing to like do that stuff to get those kind of images. So, but I mean, how fun would that be to go on like a little 3-hour trip with your team? It's close enough where you could drive up and back in one day.
That's actually another creative thing that I'd like to do when I'm trying to do something different for the team, is I look at the furthest like I could go, like 2 hours, 3 hours, that would just be just a lot different. And a lot of times I'll look at a state's film office website, and they have like all of their locations that you can rent as a film person, I guess. And it gives me a lot of ideas of places I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So that was a good thing I found a long time ago.
Yep. Speaking of Kimberly, I know like so since my sister's right there in Royce City, she says that there is a spaceship house that used to be all like it's a spaceship, like it's on like a circular spaceship.
Mhm.
Anyway, it's in Royce City, and it used to not be owned by anybody. And I was like, oh, it'd be so cool to do a photo shoot in that. I've seen a couple there. Apparently these spaceship houses are like, there's quite a few, like 12 or 10 or 12 across the country, but there's one right there in Royce City. Anyway, somebody bought it and they have repurposed it into an Airbnb now,
Ooh.
but it literally looks like a spaceship. That would, if you could get permission from those people, like that would be something really close. Oh, thank you, Mindy. Yeah, there it is. I think, is that the one in Royce City?
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
that near
so-
Fort Worth?
Your Futuro, God, I can't speak. What is it? Whatever that word is right there.
Okay.
Futuro House.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's
yeah,
pretty awesome.
yeah. So my sister Shelly, she's a photographer too, and she works for me as well. So I should get you together with her. You guys aren't too far apart, but
Yeah.
yeah, so she's wanted to do a photo shoot in that spaceship house for years. And so anyway, was an idea. But yeah. So, and maybe she said that it looked like they redid it so people could rent it, short-term rent, but who knows, maybe they need photos. So, or something cool. But yeah, so sometimes locations really are a good way to get creative too. So
I think in the winter, I mean, obviously we're much more seasonal here in Connecticut, but I really enjoy some of the studio like challenges, you know, some kind of concept that's, you know, I remember we did a high key thing a couple of years ago, and, you know, the gel lights and all those different kind of things, like coming up with something kind of unique and different in the studio is something that I sometimes I'm a little challenged with, you know, even though everybody loves those high key images. So I'm sure if I did that once a year, people would love them. It's just, you know, it is kind of nice to challenge ourselves to something different.
mhm.
But do anybody have any ideas of studio kind of creative stuff?
I do. So I get all of my inspiration. Apparently I'm following a ton of different photographers on their creative shoots you know, on Instagram, and every time I come across one that I was like, ooh, that's an idea, even if it's just like a style or whatever, I stick it into a collaborative save list or whatever it is on Instagram, and I share that with Jody and Shelly. And I'm like, so it's my list. I have one that's going with the OC as well, that I do for styles for all of our destination shoots. And then I also have one with the OC for all the locations, like the little micro locations that we use for the destination. So I get a lot of my ideas from that. And it's one that I saw kind of like the high key one was they took the really shiny, it's like
that Mylar stuff. Yes.
made like a corner booth with the top and bottom, and they just covered thing in gold or silver or blue or whatever, and it's all like crinkled up and stuff. I was like, oh. And then the one I really was like, that's so cool. They put a football player in it instead of like, you know, a pretty dress or something like that. No, they put in like a football player, and it was like, yeah. I was like, oh, that's cool. I like that. So that would be something really cool to do. I was thinking like homecoming or prom. We were always trying to find something different and unique for prom. So
Exactly.
the Mylar paper, make that corner booth, and show. Jody's like, it's really hard to shoot on reflective surfaces. Like,
I know. I was actually just thinking that. Oh my God, that sounds like a logistical nightmare, but it looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of doing something that has, you know, that you see it where it's obviously it's like a spotlight basically. So with a snoot probably, just to really give that like very exaggerated spotlight look. I haven't experimented with that so much, so I might
Yeah.
try that.
Janet, I'm with you on that. I haven't tried really shooting. I tried to do it on a senior shoot, and I think I don't have quite the technical understanding of how to get really that spotlight look with like the shadow cast on the background. Like it's very like bad flash, you know, like
Exactly.
flash on the camera almost. But the kids are really liking those images right now, and I was like, gosh, I need to my whole career, I'm like, don't put the shadow on the background, like
I
diffuse
know,
the
right?
light, like, bring the shadows down. Like, and now I'm like, how do I make that really sharp shadow, that spotlight look with like really narrowed lighting? And yeah, so one of my favorite, oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank on her name. Lindsay Adler. She does
Oh.
a lot of gels and stuff like that. I love her work. It's so inspirational, but she always has like tons of YouTubes up on how to even
Yeah,
do
she does.
like that controlled lighting. And so I was looking at her stuff when I was trying to do this senior. I just needed more time because like this was like the first look and we had 20 minutes. The parents were like breathing down my neck, we had to go do car photos and cross country photos and track photos and all this other stuff. So yeah, anyway, but yeah.
I think it's handy just in that kind of situation to not even do a group shoot, but I will call like one of my team members who I know is going to be invested in making sure that she, wears cool clothes or something, and just saying, hey, look, will you come and just help me experiment with this? Maybe we can turn it into a group shoot afterwards, but I need a person standing there to see if we can really make this work how we want it to, without, as you say, the pressure of people standing around kind of drumming their fingers and waiting for you to be done, or waiting for their turn.
Yeah,
because they can't see what you can see through the camera, so they don't know that it's not there yet. So it's not their turn yet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Janet, have you ever tried a projection shoot?
I haven't. No,
It's
I
cool.
haven't.
That's a fun one.
Yeah. So it's kind of, there's a couple of different varieties of things. I know Magmod has something that has the little adapters that you can create the lines or the star shape and things like that. And I have it, and I literally have never played with it. So that's kind of on my bucket list for the winter, where we have those very rare days where it's blue sky and fluffy clouds and not freezing cold, and preferably with snow on the ground, but they're few and far between. Generally outside shooting in January, February in our area is pretty bad.
Well, go ahead.
I bought a projector and just projected images on the girls.
That's cool.
I did one of those too.
I think I remember you posting some of those, actually. I had to go back and take a look.
One of our really cool ones that Mindy put together for me and our parents, actually, they taped together all these newspapers, and we basically like decked out like a corner and a backdrop of and the floor was all newspaper, and we wrapped the furniture in newspaper, and then the kids came in with like a pop of color, but you could do a black and white too, and that was really like a cool different backdrop. They had so much fun with that.
Those look really good, Gretchen.
Thank you. I also want to do that, but maybe with like fashion magazines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the newspaper is pretty cool too. I would want to do that as well.
I did it with newspaper a couple of years ago. I tried to do something for Earth Day every year, but to put a little bit of a different spin on it. So one year I did it with the newspapers in the background, and then challenged them to use recycled materials. So not just Goodwill type stuff, but actual recycled materials that they found in their home to create an outfit. And that looked really cool too.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Recycled shit. Playing off of the different less holidays.
That's your photos here, Gretchen, are amazing.
Thank you.
So that's just cool.
And what's funny is that was just her and I playing around, never done it before. Then I tried to do it again with a group, and it wasn't as good. And I don't know what I did differently. And I can never recreate those ones again, apparently.
Those are very artistic, super artistic.
Like these are, why have I never seen these before?
They're really cool.
They are like 5, 6 years old.
My projection shoot did not come out like that at all. Like we had the girls they did more like things that they were passionate about, that like as activists kind of. So they did like self-esteem, and they wrote it on the paper or on the projection, whatever plastic it is, and then they stood in there and had it like going across their forehead, like
That's cool too,
different things. But not as cool and artistic as all of that you just did. It's pretty neat.
Well, I did that too the second time around, and yeah, it didn't turn out as good as these first ones, but
Mhm. You know what? That's like long exposure for me. Like every picture is different and every shoot is different because you're just playing with the light and
yeah, yeah.
well, that's really cool.
I
All
love,
right. Well,
sorry. Anyway, the one of the clouds with the clouds and the white shirt, and it makes sense why you have her wear white and you project it on a white. So it's really, that's just cool. I was just thinking that's an alternative to a high key.
Yeah.
Anyway,
mhm.
um,
Okay, well,
really
make sure that
doing-
we don't run out of time. Let's we've got Kimberly's email so we can send that list. But do you want to show Mindy, do you have it pulled up on the OC, the challenge list that we have for creative shoots? So Kimberly, if you are wanting to delve into some creative shoots and you want the OC to highlight any of your artwork or your creative work, just as you're trying to launch your business, trying to get your name out there, not only can you put it on your own website or social media, but if you send it to the One Collective, we can also post it as part of our, we have like just a little fun membership here of things that we can do. We got, these are the ideas. Some of these are old. I see we've got, where are our current ones? Shooting Color Harmony. Yeah.
I was really looking forward to this one, and we didn't have a team this year. It was
Mhm. So, but basically, any of these are just ones that we had up here as ideas, and then you can go right in there to, oh, it's on the BizBytes site of things. Is there the submission link, Mindy?
Mission was right here.
Submit challenge. Yep. So that's, if you want something like that, then we can post the images like there as well as like on social media, and encourage people to get their name out there and help. So we have just some different BizBytes next month coming up. So Mindy shared that list on that link of like our different topics. But you can also, if you want to join the group, you can click that button there on the site, and that will take you to like kind of the membership part of it. But it can be also, if you want to be part of like an upcoming photo shoot, I'm blanking here. So we've got the photo events up at the top. So our next destination shoot that we're getting together is in New Orleans in March 3rd and 4th. So if you want to bring a rep with you or 2 reps with you, you can meet us down there, and we're doing a group shoot together. But between then is like the challenge groups to try to get your business back up and team back together. I'm going to be working on building a team as well.
Me too.
And so kind of this time of year, seems like we're still doing Christmas and getting ready for the holidays, both on a personal level and business level. And so it's hard to think about that marketing in the early spring, but we definitely need to be thinking about it right now and being proactive with it. But anyway, these destination shoots coming up, well, they're not really just photo events, because you might be from right there. But anyway, New Orleans, March 3rd and 4th. If you want some more details, you can click there and log in. St. Louis is after the event there. Shutterfest, thank you.
Shutterfest, yeah.
Yep. And so shoot in St. Louis, just a one-day one. And then we have a destination to Ireland coming up June 24th and 25th. So if you want an international experience, I mean, you've been in Turkey, so it's, but we did do London last summer, and that was really good. Janet and Isaac, who's not here today, and myself met our reps in London, and we did photos there and learned a lot about shooting in big cities. So, but anyway, so those are those events coming up, and you can certainly join us at one of those, and the links are there. And if you have questions, we can talk about all that later. But then
What's the date of our next Biz Bites?
Yes.
Yeah, the next date is
So go back to the Biz Bites.
just January 12th. And we haven't necessarily picked a topic yet, but we
Yeah.
will and figured out who's gonna kind of lead that. But
Perfect.
yeah, the photo event, we've got the photo events here coming up, people if you're interested. And then back on the Biz Bites page, you can add the calendar, that way you can get notifications when there's gonna be one coming up. And the link for that is just OneCollective/biz or onecollective.io/bizbites. And
It's kind of a hidden page, isn't it?
it is, it's not, well, no, it's at the bottom of the screen. If you go underneath additional resources, BizBites is right down there in the footer.
Okay.
You can get through it to there, right there. And we will be making a vault of all of our past recordings. If we ever one was like, I remember listening to that and I missed it or whatever, and you want those ideas back, you can always go into the vault and see that. Otherwise, you can add the calendar to your calendar. You can subscribe to it, as well as if you found value in today, you can join the group. It's an easy $10 a month for the subscription for that, and that would also get you access to post the images or send us the images and for the features that way.
Features and all that.
But you can also attend an event without joining the group officially. So
Yeah.
if you're interested in joining one of the groups, Kimberly, we'd be love to have you and one of the photo events. But thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
And just to know that, you know, we're here like other photographers who would love to help you build your business, and we're always in some stages of the same thing. So
Yeah, you and Lisa should connect in real life to like brainstorm building ideas. I mean, I need to build my business every year.
Yeah.
mm,
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? You're not focusing on next year, then things tend to kind of run out.
Yeah.
So true. Like you always got to be, it's not like some businesses where like it's just the maintenance and you may add a new client a little bit, and the photography is they come in for one time and they may or may not come back. I know Isaac is kind of looking at it from the perspective of he wants to be that lifelong photographer for that client. But
Yep.
it works. It's, you know, hopefully it's working for him, but not everybody has that type of ability or
mhm.
interest. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Great meeting, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for today.
See you later.